let's go ahead and overwinter some peppers. It's pretty simple. It says by the middle of the week, we might get a freeze. So we got some time. I'm gonna go ahead and our really hot ones, there's a few that have fallen on the ground, but I wanna go ahead and prune these up and get them in a container and get them into the house. I'm gonna show you how. I'm gonna go ahead and start with this Carolina Reaper since we've taken all the fruit off of it. Some fell on the ground, obviously, but with the storms we've had, this one's fallen over. It's very simple. And you can just count the nodes coming on up. You come on up to just about where you get a Y and past that node, just clip those off. And if you got some coming straight out of the bottom, go ahead and clip those off. Down here under the mulch, we've got several. That just cleans that up. Yeah, I need to take you off and you off. Okay, so now we've got a nice healthy plant, a nice little split. We got 3 splits right here. You see the leaves coming out of this split. At every one of these junctions, you want to count at least 1 or 2 leaves. Those are nodes, and that's where the new growth's gonna come out. We've got a nice Y right here. So I'm gonna come up 2 nodes. I'm gonna cut that off. Then I'm just gonna chop this and let it fall in the mulch. The more Ys you have, the more it's gonna bush out in the spring. And it doesn't matter if you take all of the leaves off. Okay, so we've cleaned that up. It looks very dramatic. And coming up this stem, we got 1, 2, 3 good nodes there. So this is cleaned up pretty good. Let's go ahead and pop this out of the ground and get it in a container. Oh, got one more piece. Clip that off. And I'm gonna go ahead and leave the leaves on this one. I'm clipping off what could be a good sized plant. And then just chopping it up, making it in the mulch. With the rain that we had yesterday, this is gonna be pretty easy. I'm gonna just take my fork in, I'll pop it up. Pop the whole thing out of the ground. Just remove some of that soil off of that root ball. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wash this. And it actually rained so much we filled up our containers out here. So I'm just gonna rinse off some of that soil. And these roots are kind of big, so I'm just gonna prune those back a little bit. You're not hurting it at all. You just take your shovel or your fork, come out just a little bit, go straight down, and then just pop it up. It's got some really nice roots there. And right there you can see the mycorrhizal fungi from the deep mold. We're just gonna clean this mulch off around it. We've got our little helpers in here, our worms. But since we're coming into the house, we don't have to worry about the life in the soil. We're gonna supplement these. They don't need nearly as much water in the winter, but like this plant with the leaves on it, you wanna make sure you get it in a south-facing window or you put a grow light on it. Otherwise, all those leaves are gonna fall right off, which is okay. And once again, I'm just gonna rinse that soil off of there. That way, if there are any critters, you're not bringing them into the house. That's the other reason we're using a potting soil instead of the soil from the garden. Just trim those back a little bit. We want it to be able to fit in the container. You're not hurting anything. We're just transplanting. Okay, I think we're ready to go. Since this is a potted plant and we're going into the house, I don't care if we have the soil from the garden in here. I'm not really worried about having a bunch of life in this container. We're gonna go ahead and supplement this over the winter. So just use a good kind of potting mix. Make sure you have drain holes, obviously. Put a little mix in the bottom of that, and then just like everything else, just set your root ball down in here. But just about any brand of potting mix will work for the indoor plants. And just like before, we put a little soil down in the bottom. And then backfill. Snug that down in there. And we'll see if we can't keep two of our favorite peppers alive over the winter. You can do this too. We've got a couple Anaheim peppers here that I'm going to clean up. We'll bring those in. And I think we're going to try to save this Serrano. It frosted down real hard the other day, but it came back with a vengeance. So it wants to be in the garden. Now, cleaning up your peppers is just that simple. We have a few that were already in containers that we're just bringing in and out. We're going to continue to do that. But here in Zone 7, we do have the benefit of some warm afternoons. So as much as you can haul them in and out, it's best for the plants. Otherwise, a south-facing window works really well, and if you don't have that, supplement with some grow lights. I'm going to try to keep the leaves on this one. We got some nice new growth coming on. This Carolina Reaper, it'll be just fine. As long as the stems stay green, you want to keep a little moisture on them, not too much water. It's going to be kind of in a hibernation mode. You can do this too. And until next time, remember, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and God bless you. Come on, let's plant.
Let's go plant garden.